Welcome to my parlor. Welcome, traveler, to the Hidden Corner Finds. I am Joanne, and this is my humble store. Pull up a chair, stay a while, and make yourself at home. What? Oh, you want to know what I'm selling? Everything and anything. In short, I have a passion for. Ugh, why did it just bleep me? All I said was, I have a passion for picking, I said. Yeesh. You can't say anything on YouTube these days without this censorship. Anyways, as I was saying, I have a passion for picking. For me, there is nothing more satisfying than finding a unique and forgotten item and uniting it with someone who will really appreciate it for years to come. Whether it's a soapstone carving, an old book, or simply a mug to make you laugh, I try and find something for everyone. My goal is to make you a confident buyer. Older items often have a lifetime of stories to tell. I strive to describe the good as well as the bumps and bruises they've experienced along the way. It's important that the pictures reflect what you will receive. To that end, I always encourage questions and will do my best to respond as quick as possible. Appreciate you stopping by the store. If you can't find what you're looking for, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm always looking for new ideas and will keep an eye out for your item in my travels.
Honey, what the happened to my action figure collection?
Whoops, gotta go. Bye.
And welcome back to Toy Thursday with Johnny Tiger. Today we're celebrating Wear Purple for Peace Day. If you have never heard of that, that's not strange. I never heard of that until today when I was doing research for Toy Thursday. So, apparently this is something pretty old. This started way back in the 70s. Some people, probably hippies, decided that the reason that we don't get any alien visitors is that when they look at Earth, they see all this war and conflicts going on, and it's too violent, and they're scared to come visit us. So if we can all wear purple on a designated day to show solidarity, then aliens will know that we are working on trying to be more peaceful, and maybe we'll get some alien visitors. Yeah, okay, I don't know about that, but anyway, I mean, the idea is a good one, right? Like peace is never a bad thing. That's a weird thing for me to say because I spent my life doing martial arts and teach people how to fight. But anyway, um, peace is good. So um, on this day, people wear purple to show some intention of having a more peaceful world. Why purple? Right? This was one of my first questions. Why purple of all colors? Why not, I don't know, pink, blue, or any other? Well, it turned out the reason it was purple is because the color purple is made up of red and blue, and red and blue are colors from completely opposite end of the spectrum. So the idea is if red and blue can work together to form purple, then the rest of us should work together to make the world a more peaceful place. Pretty cool, right? So opening our show, we have the action figure from Mattel. And this is from the Hercules Disney series, and this is Zeus, the father of all gods, uh, Zeus himself, wearing his I think he wears like his I think his robe is purple. At least I know on the show his robe is purple. I hope the action figure is the same coloration. But we are not going to look at this action figure, at least not today. There's really not much to say about this action figure. He's actually kind of crummy. I think I might even have showed him on how to like what is a bad action figure before. It's not so much that he looks bad, but it's just the whole design is really bad. Anyway, uh, if he's wearing purple, he's welcome on Wear Purple for Peace Day. But we are going to shift our focus to another character who is purple, but maybe not so peaceful. This mean looking purple cat warrior is definitely not what you would imagine any kind of peace loving character. And in fact, he is a villain. He is uh, fighting for the evil side. His name is Purrrplor. Get that again. Purrrplor. Yeah, he is purple, but that is pretty adorable, right? Okay, his name is Purrrplor. Purrrplor. Like I don't know, man. Like I think that name probably got him bullied in school. With a name like that, I can you imagine all the other cat people whenever they met him. Hey, Purrrplor, what are you up to? Hey, aren't you a cute little kitty cat? Here, kitty, kitty. Purrrplor. Yeah, probably why he grew up to be evil with a name like that. Anyway, this guy is made by the Four Horsemen Studio. It's part of the Mythic Legion line and came out, I believe, in 2019. And as a part of the Wasteland series, and Wasteland was a really good series. At least I really enjoyed it. And in addition to being a cool purple cat warrior, he is a tribute to the Pensor from Masters of the Universe. You know, the Pensor that was a battle steed of Skeletor, and Pensor was a purple cat with green saddle and armor, and Purrrplor here is has a beautiful, rich purple color with mean-looking green eyes, and he got this beautiful blue and bronze accented, the blue and green accented armor. So the coloration definitely is a tribute to Pensor from Masters of the Universe. Now, lucky for us that the Four Horsemen don't put super long, involved stories on their action figures, so this won't take very long to go over his biography. But just in case, for those of you who don't know what the Mythic Legions is about, Mythic Legion is, in my opinion, probably not, if not the best, one of the best fantasy-based action figure lines out there. And these are pretty exclusive figures. You cannot walk into Toys R Us or Walmart or Amazon to buy them. You have to either buy them from the online retailers like Big Bad Toy Store, or you have to get them straight from Four Horsemen Studio when they release them. If you miss the pre-order window, some of these guys are really hard to get. So they do have that more premium price tag, but what you get is so much more, so much better. I mean, I kind of envy you guys because you guys can see how beautiful this figure is, and I can't. For me personally, Mythic Legion has always been bittersweet, a bit of a bittersweet subject. Because while I love the characters and figures, I cannot buy a lot of them. Number one, because they're expensive, but more so, number two, because Mythic Legion is all about swapping body parts and using the same body parts over and over again, just with different color, different paint. So you have gold knight, silver knight, bronze knight, whatever knight, they all built on the same armor, same body, but they are so beautiful and look so different from each other. So people will buy them, but to a blind guy like myself, that doesn't do me any good. So, for example, Purrrplor here, he actually has a counterpart. There was a good kitty cat by the name of Cowell. Cowell. And I decided I would either get Colorel or Purrrplor. I was not going to get both because they're built exactly on the same body. It's basically one is purple and the other one different color. So, um, a lot of time I find myself having to skip a lot of Mythic Legion action figures because I just refuse to buy figures that all feel the same to me. Uh, so I will never be a completionist when it comes to Mythic Legion, even though it's one of my favorite. I, the hell was that? But let's just say it's my favorite toy line out there, right? Some other toy line come close, but there's no toy line so far that is as intricate, beautiful, and still within that affordable price range. I mean, Purrrplor here, if I ask you guys to guess how much it costs, like, unless you already know Mythic Legion, I mean, then that doesn't count. But most of you would probably guess him to be pretty expensive. He is big, he is solid, and he's so beautifully painted. And I haven't even gotten to different options and his accessories yet. This guy was only $37 when I bought him from the Forest Horseman. Like $37. When you think about that, it's like standard Marvel Legend from Hasbro is like 25, and some of them get up to 30. The deluxe figure get up to 39, $40. This guy is so much better than those uh, figures from Hasbro. So for $37, you get something like this. Rather than spending $25, you get a crap figure that's also body reuse that you've seen 1,000 times and hardly come with any accessory. Uh, anyway, that's just one of the major reasons why I say Mythic Legion is one of my favorite toy line, even though I cannot enjoy all of them because it's heavily reused. If I get too many of them, I start to enjoy them less because they all feel the same after a while. Okay, with that said, let's quickly go through Purrrplors. Ugh, I it hurts me to say that name. It's cute, but no, it's just like so insulting to this guy. Let's go quickly go over Purrrplor's background. Purrrplor fights for the Legion of Erasir. Erasir is one of the four evil gods in the Mythic Legion universe. Uh, the four evil gods basically are the four horsemen. Yeah, I know, and they're made by the four horsemen. That's kind of cute. Erasir is a war, the horseman for war, and then there's others for famine and death and plague or pestilence. But yeah, Erasir is the big bad. Uh, that is Purrrplor's leader, basically. Purrrplor came from the shadowy forest city of Viseria or Visera. It's I hate it when Four Horsemen put in words that no one knows how to pronounce. A lot of times, even they themselves don't know how to pronounce that on their podcast. Visera, I think it's Visera. So, Purrrplor came from the forest city of Visera. This city is always shrouded by trees, so he grew up without seeing the sun. This allowed him to develop some really impressive stealth ability. So he's a master at being stealthy, and he's also a master swordsman. And then he got drafted into fighting for the forces of Erasir. And during the siege of Yongar, which the Legion of Erasir came into clashes with uh, army of Atlas, the Conqueror, one of the good guys. So, you know, long story short, just so I don't confuse everybody, bad guy fought good guy in the siege of Yongar, Yungar is the name of the fortress, I guess. And bad guy got their butts handed to them, and they retreated. And poor Purrrplor and his some of his teammates got left behind and have to make their own way home. It's like they didn't retreat with the army or something, and they got trapped in the wasteland around the young guard, being hunted by the good guys, and they have to do this outdoor survival stuff and gradually make their own way home and try to not get caught by the heroes. Kind of an interesting little story there, and definitely uh, lucky for them that they had the master of stealth and swordsmanship on their side. And I'm sure that in the wilderness, in the wasteland, our Purrrplor here really helped out his teammates. I hope so, anyway. Now let's look at the figure itself. Like I said, he is quite large. He is 7 inches tall. He is, unfortunately, unfortunately, as a lot of Mythic Legion goes, built on a lot of the same body that we've seen like a gazillion times. Like he's got these really cool spiky shoulder pad. It got the blade is spiky, arm guard, spiky shin guard, and these boots just look scary. There's so much jagged edges on his armor. Imagine he's trying to if he kick somebody, he'd probably do some serious harm to them. And he's built on the generic muscular male body that we have seen ever since like 2017. Uh, so as far as sculpts go, there's not much new here. Well, there's nothing new here. Even the head is the same head we saw on Balan from uh, the Advent of Decay wave that I shown before, and of course, Caldwell, the good counterpart of Purrrplor, used the same head. So as far as sculpt go, it's an impressive sculpt. I think I feel bad when I review Mythic Legion sometimes because I feel like I get jaded after collecting them for so long. Even though I don't try to get all of them, I still manage to have seen pretty much all the body parts, all the configurations, and so I think like for first time buyers or someone who never seen this configuration before, this is really really cool. And I think for visual people, when you guys can see the color, the green accent on the armor, the with his purple fur and all this, like I think you guys would agree, it's a really good looking figure. That it's really impressive. But for me, it's like, ah, is this body again, these armor again? Give me a break, right? But that's just me. I think that's just something that a long time collector of Mythic Legion we run into that issue. Um, However, even though I have handled a lot of Mythic Legion characters, every single time I open one of them, I still get that wow factor because when you take this guy up in your hand, he's heavy. I mean, he's only 7 inches tall, so he's like definitely not huge by any definition, as compared to a lot of other characters. But he just feel weighty and solid in hand, like he weighs about 3 times of a normal Marvel legend. I mean, I'm not counting the Hulk or Abomination or those guys, but this guy is heavy. For a 7 inch guy, he is really heavy. Um, and I think where the strength is in a lot of Mythic Legion is the different weapons and accessories and options you can get out of this guy, or the characters. You see, so for Purrrplor here, for example, the pauldron, the shoulder armor, these are removable. Like, well, they all have removable pauldron, and his head is coming off. uh, so it pegs into the back of the shoulder piece here. Okay, this shoulder piece is relatively rare. Like this, this harness and this neck, like fur on his neck. This piece is an add-on piece to make him look more animal-like. Uh, some of the animal figures have this, but when I showed another cat character like Balan, he didn't come with this. But it definitely comes with a lot of the animal characters. I find it's one of those things that it's good that it's there, but it has its own set of problems. And we are going to talk about that when I discuss things that I don't like about Purrrplor. Because sadly, there are things that I don't like about Purrrplor. I love the character, I love the backstory, I love what he represents, but there are things that just bug me about the action figure itself. Now, I imagine most people, when they get this action figure, when they get Purrrplor, they will display him in the default configuration, which is the badass purple cat warrior, right? You know, the head, the jaguar head, the neck fur piece, the big spiky armor, the cute furry purple tail. I think most people, including myself, get him so they can display him like that. But just in case you get two of him, and you want to uh, get a second character out of this, it comes with a different head, and you can turn him into a purple orc warrior. Um, I'm not going to do it on camera because it's a little bit awkward. Uh, but basically, you take off the head, you take off the shoulder armor, you take off the neck piece, and you pop on the new orc head, and voila! Now you get yourself an almost topless, fearsome looking purple orc warrior. Again, I will never display him like that, even though I really like the look, but I like my purple cat warrior even better. So, like I said, unless you got two of him, I think most people are just going to ignore this orc head. I mean, who bought this just for just to have a purple orc? Anyway, that it's kind of boggles the mind that they even throw this extra head in there. But they did, so you can have a different character option. And the good thing is in this configuration, uh, without the big bulky neck piece and then the heavy shoulder armor, you can really appreciate the sculpt of the arm, the body, the muscles, and you can also uh, work with the articulation a lot better because when he had all that shoulder thing on, uh, his articulation is a pain in the butt, especially in the upper body, because every time you try to move them, something's going to fall off. So when you strip him down like this for this configuration, uh, you are going to be able to use his joints a lot more. Now, of course, there's no one says that you can't uh, do something like remove the orc head and just stick the cat head on there without the without the fur and stuff like that. Sort of like this. How I have the cat head on the stripped down version of the body. But to me, this looked a lot less impressive than the full get up that we had earlier for Purrrplor. I think he looked a lot more menacing in his big shoulder pads and big fur around the neck and harness around his body and stuff like that. Although, I mean, if he is supposed to be the guy who's stealthy and sneaking around, shouldn't he be wearing something a little bit more low key? While I have him in his stripped down orc configuration, I'm going to quickly go over some articulation, although there's nothing special here. It's very standard. Um, and when you handle your Mythic Legion toys, always, always, always warm them up with a hair dryer or hot water first time, because they can get really tight during shipping. And if you don't warm them up, you run the risk of breaking your $40 figure. Okay. Um, so the head, we got a ball jointed head that can look kind of up, down, side to side, waggle side to side. Now, when you have the cat head on there with the big shoulder armor and all that stuff, it does not want to move like that. Okay, that's one thing. This uh, more naked version, the head movement is way better. Okay, shoulder on this guy is really really tight, but it basically can go up and down and side to side. I'm trying to be very careful with this. Yeah, elbow about 90-degree bend. There's a there's a kind of a bicep swivel and a forearm swivel and a wrist swivel. Now I don't know why people do that, because having a wrist swivel and a forearm swivel is pretty pointless. They both turn the arm the same way. Okay, but I guess if it's there, it's fine. If you have him in the cat configuration, okay, we're going to plug the tail back in. The tail is on the ball joint, can go up and down, side to side. I kind of wish they put a bandy wire in the tail, but they didn't. Okay, the torso has a kind of a ball jointed waist, so you can lean back, lean forward, side to side, twist, left to right. Legs can kick up, to the side, to back, and knee can bend about 90 degree. Ankle can have an ankle rocker and then can kind of flex forward and back. Out. It just pinched me. There's a swivel at the shin as well and at the ankle. So yeah, nothing groundbreaking. This is not a figure that's going to be competing against Spider-Man or anything like that. Uh, and even though I'm not a big buff on articulation, I wish Mythic Legion would come with better range of motions in their arms, so they can double hand their sword. They can put both hands on the sword. Um, Now, the latest batch of Mythic Legion as of 2024 will have butterfly joints. So, if you start now, you're starting at a very good time. This kind of limited articulation is what some of us old timers have to put up with. But those of you who are coming late, you're getting some really awesome articulation off the right off the bat. So uh, this is a good time. This is a good year to start collecting Mythic Legions. While I have him in the org format, I'm going to also use this format to go over his accessories, because he's just a bit of a pain in the ass to handle when he's in his cat configuration. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a bit. So, in addition to the removable shoulder armor and stuff, he comes with this leather strap that you can either put around his waist or across his body. You usually want to pull the head off and then put this across his chest, and then you pop the head back on. So now he's got something on his body that he can carry weapon in. For his weapons and other accessories, first I want to show you guys this beautiful, gorgeous shield. Right? This is like the kind of shield that you see in Lord of the Ring. This is a long, like an elven style shield with a green gem in the center, and he can hold it very well in his hand. That give him a kind of a knight look, right? Uh, I guess they call this a kite shield, uh, and it's really well made. Like this shield feels solid, and the design on it is pretty awesome. And it has those pointy bits on the bottom, almost like if he is desperate enough, he can slash someone with the edge of the shield, and can use that as a weapon. In addition to the shield, he comes with um, this wicked looking little knife. I mean, this is, I don't know if this was even classified as a knife. This is more like a, I don't know, hatchet or giant dagger. It's all jagged edges and spiky and just a kind of a scary looking fantasy weapon that a bad guy would be using. Now, I usually keep this holstered or sheathed at that strap we just put around his chest. Kind of like that. Uh, don't ever carry your daggers that way, by the way. Don't, well, not without a sheath, you'll shank yourself in the butt. Uh, but he's a badass cat warrior or badass purple orc if you prefer. So he's fine. Uh, yeah, we can't get too logical with this. So in addition to the shield and the badass looking dagger, he also comes with a huge bustard sword. And this thing's, I know a lot of people don't like this. A lot of people hate this sword. But personally, I think it's pretty cool. It got a spiky, like a sunburst uh, design on the hilt and guard, and a big, chunky blade with runes engraved along the length. I think most people don't like this. It's because the end looks a bit like a paddle on a boat, so you can't stab anyone with this. This is a weird looking sword that doesn't have a point on it. But honestly, I think the thing about a sword like this is meant to hack through things. This is meant to be like an armor breaker, something that you use to chop horses, chop the legs of horses or something like that. This is not a stabby weapon. This is a brute force hacking weapon. Because if you guys can see on the screen, uh, the point is actually here on the side of the weapon. That's on the edge here, it comes to a point here. On the other edge, it comes to a point, uh, and it kind of have that sickle-shaped blade. Okay, so it's not that it doesn't have a point. The point is on the side, so you can't stab with it. But if you imagine this, when you are someone as strong as Purrrplor, and you hack someone with this sword, and the point on the side will hammer right into the helmet or armor or whatever it hits. Like this is going to be like a hammer blow with a blade. Okay, so because I work with a lot of swords myself, so I kind of know a little bit of logic behind how something this could be used. So it's not like how some people say, oh, it's a useless weapon. It's not practical. It is. It is practical. You just don't stab with it. This is a hacking, chopping, and with this point on the side, this will go right through any heavy armor it hit. Right? So that's why they call it a buster sword, meant to bust through things. Okay? So that's uh, his main weapon. So again, you can pay $25 for a Marvel Legend that barely counts with anything, and it's like half the size of this. Well, at least uh, density-wise. They're usually 6.5 inches tall, but they're nowhere this well made or this solid. Um, or you pay $37 for something like Purrrplor here, which give you two display options, probably more if you want to be a little bit more creative, because you can display him in the cat format without the shoulder armor, or you can display in the orc format with shoulder armor on, although that looks really weird because there's nothing holding those armor on. They just kind of seem to be sitting on his shoulder in that case. But the options are there, and then you come with three well, one big shield, one big sword, one cool dagger, an extra leather belt for you to hang weapon on, um, and yeah, removable head, removable tail, removable fur piece on the neck. There's just so much more here. It's not even a, it, it's almost a no-brainer. But with that said, it's time for me to tell you what I don't like about this figure. And there's quite a few things too. Number one, in the Purrrplor configuration, when we have his heavy armor on and his cat head on, I want you guys to watch this. He loses his head really easily. Like this is very annoying. This is why I don't like to handle him when he is in his cat format, in his cat getup, because this head I didn't even use any force and it pops off. So sometimes when I'm like trying to move the arm, trying to move the waist, and the head will just suddenly fly off to nowhere. It's just really annoying. It's really loose. Okay. Also, with the big shoulder piece on, this supposedly legendary swordsman, sword cat, he can't raise his arm up. And this is not just his problem. This is a common problem with a lot of Mythic Legions. And it's a very aggravating problem because these are warriors. These guys should be able to raise their arm up. So this kind of armor configuration, while looking cool, will block his arm. I mean, yeah, okay, if you're wearing this kind of armor in real life, it probably won't let you move your arm either. So at least that's kind of realistic, but it's just frustrating when you have good looking armor, good looking character, and you cannot pose them properly. Um, Probably there's another problem with this figure is the leg. Like, this is so loose. The hip is so loose. It's almost floppy on this figure. I can, with a little bit of work, get him to stand and stay standing, but it's always a bit of a challenge to get that sweet spot, and you can't get him into really dynamic poses without that hip just make him fall over gradually. But all this aside, perhaps what is the biggest pet peeve of mine when it comes to Mythic Legion and their animal figures is that why is it that he has fur on his tail and his head and his neck piece, but nowhere else? How come this cat, like these animal guys, they're all bare naked, like from the neck down, and like they're smooth. What they wax or they shave or what? Like I understand because they are using the same human body for these guys, but come on, Four Horsemen, you guys made enough money off of us. You can at least make some effort and sculpt some furs onto this body and make animal guys look more like animals, right? Like in the beginning, back in like 2016, 2017, 2018 even, I can see, okay, the line was still young and they still didn't have a lot of extra money to make extra new stuff. Then that makes more sense. But by the time Purrrplor came out, I kind of feel that, especially considering how successful the line has been by that point, getting a properly furry body for these people, these animal people, shouldn't be that big of a deal, right? Shouldn't be that big of a deal. Like, personally speaking, I would be perfectly fine if they skip the second head. Okay, don't give us that purple orc head that no one really wants, but put proper fur on the body. Right? I mean, I don't know how economical that work, but to me, that is a better use of their time and money rather than throwing a purple orc head. Now, with all this said, at this point, we've gotten quite a few animal warriors like this without fur on their body. So I think there's going to come a day when Four Horsemen give us what we want and actually put fur, like scalped fur, on their new animal characters. And I think that day is going to be kind of bittersweet. I'm going to be happy that they do that, but I'm going to be so pissed because now I got some animal warriors like this guy, like Purrrplor here, that almost like he whacks his torso or something. Anyway, before we end the video, let's bring in some other animal warriors so we can stand them together in a group shot. But before that, I want to do a size comparison with him and a standard human-sized character. So here we have Purrrplor posed with Faramir from Lord of the Ring by Toy Biz. And Faramir is a pretty standard size human character for swords and sorcery and fantasy. Most of the human character, if they're from Mythic Legion or NECA, is going to be a little bit bigger, but still okay. And some other companies that make 6-inch figures going to be maybe a little bit shorter. So he is like a very happy medium in that 6 to 7 inch. And yeah, Purrrplor, make him look tiny. I mean, maybe Purrrplor is not that tall, much taller, but the girth, the size of Purrrplor is just ridiculous. Standing next to Faramir here, like if these two fight each other on the battlefield, I hope Faramir learn to duck really, really good because one hit from Purrrplor, that basically would be it. Uh, there's that much of a size difference in the two of them. Speaking of human-sized character, I do want to take this chance to vent a little bit. Like a lot of you guys have no idea how many figures I have gotten broken during the making of Toy Thursday. Because originally the human figure that was going to be used for comparison was Black Knight from Marvel Legends. Uh, and he is roughly the same size as Faramir. And while I was setting up for the video, he fell off the table and fell just like, I don't know, not even 2 feet. The table is not that tall. Like, it fell a short distance to the floor. A padded floor, wasn't even a hard floor. Fell onto a padded floor and his leg snapped off. So now I have to super glue him back together and he's not going to be able to use his side swivel from now on. Really pissed me off when things like that happen. Like, what? Like, Hasbro making your action figure from tofu or what? Like, it fell such a short distance onto a padded floor and the legs snap off? Really? Come on. Um, Now, with that out of my system, let's bring forward some of our other animal characters. We'll take poor Faramir off to the side, just in case he gets ganged up on. And we are going to uh, move some of our hidden characters to the foreground. This is another Mythic Legion. This one is one of the smaller figure. This is Mephitor. He's also I don't know what kind of animal he is, like a skunk. He's like a skunk. And to me, in my head canon anyway, Mythosaur would be like a Purrrplor's sidekick. They're both tributes to Masters of the Universe, and they're both from Mythic Legion. They both, I believe, they both even fight on the same side. Actually, they're both from Aerothere's Legion. So I think that's you know, Mythosaur will probably be the little guy that get bossed around by Purrrplor and have to run errands and stuff like that. And just to bring in another big guy, we have from DC Comics by McFarlane, DC Multiverse, we have this earlier version of Gorilla Grodd, which I'm using uh, to fight along the rank of my evil animal warriors because he looked like he really fit. He looked like he fit the medieval fantasy display more than the DC comic display actually. And for someone really imposing, we are going to bring forward Veradicus from Stan Winston's Blood Wolf. That's such a good looking figure. Such a good looking figure. I'm going to pull the camera back so we get a full frontal view of all these guys together. Veradicus is definitely the tallest and most probably the most imposing, but Gorilla Grodd is definitely the heaviest, the beefiest. Purrrplor going that nice central position of being cool looking and powerful, but not super huge. And then we have tiny little Methador, probably the messenger boy, and that uh, get bossed around by these guys. So that's it, folks. This is our look at Mythic Legion Purrrplor on Wear Purple for Peace Day. Hope you guys enjoy this. I'll be back again tomorrow for Fitness Friday.